We're just here to talk about a few different things. Um, I'm joined alongside with Bulldog, Cheesa, Beast of Asgard, and we have a special guest in the house, AJ Storm. If y'all want to introduce yourself, y'all have the floor, and we'll start out with Bulldog.
Hello, my name is Bulldog46X underscore on PlayStation. Twitter tag is Bulldog at Bulldog46X. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. Been racing Outlaw since the very beginning. First League race, one of the founding members over here of Outlaw. That's about all I have to say.
Beast of Asgard.
Alright, Beast of Asgard. I'm 29 from living in Bethlehem, PA. I think I've been starting racing with you guys since September, October-ish.
He was in the first Daytona 500 on Heat for it.
Yeah, I think that's about when I started, somewhere in there. Beast of Asgard, been racing with them since about then. Welder for a living. We're just here to shoot around some topics for you.
Shoot the bull, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm a little under the weather with my throat, so I apologize if I start hacking.
We actually just Dagger Racing just joined as well. If you want to introduce yourself a little bit, there, brother. Can you hear us, Dagger?
I don't hear Dagger in the chat.
His mic probably isn't connected to the chat. Real quick, Smoke, if you don't care, since we did just start this broadcast, I would go ahead and tell you to lock this party down.
Yeah.
Make it
hold on. Dagger, can you hear us, bud? Alright. Oh, we should be back. Did I just click on Share Factory again?
Yes,
Alright,
so
so we're back. So, yeah, Dagger and Cheese is not speaking. AJ, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit.
AJ Storm, the former CEO of Midnight. I am now the CEO of On a Mission. My real name's Avery Jarrett. I come from a real racing family is known as the Jarretts. I have 14 years of real life experience in race cars. I am from Houtzdale, Pennsylvania. I have 2 kids. Making my first debut in Outlaw with Smoke. He used to be my dude on other platforms. Excited to make a race tonight.
Yeah, just to touch on what AJ said about Midnight, that's where me and AJ originally met each other, was through Midnight. There was a great thing going there, still is. We just, decided we just wanted to go our own thing. It wasn't nothing wrong with Midnight. Midnight is a top tier league. We respect them. So nothing bad is why we left. We just wanted to do our own thing. So with that being said, we'll give Dagger, you here? No? Alright. So we'll lead into the first thing is how Outlaw started. Pretty much I kinda addressed it already. Wanted to go do our own thing. I wanted to go out adventure, get new talent, get new drivers, and that's why we ended up here. So Bulldog agreed to come along with me to do this, and once me and Bulldog left, who was our next? Beast was our next pickup, I believe.
No, it was actually Cheesa came along later in the season.
Okay.
Originally, when we started the founding members of this, we had me, Bulldog, Smoke, Fluffy, and Galen was the original 4 admins in Outlaw. Going from there, we picked up a few guys before the whole deal happened with Fast Fed and Go Fast. Fed was another original that participated in the very first Outlaw Daytona 500, along with Go Fast Matt over on Xbox.
DK Brown was one. Yep.
DK Brown was one of the first ones in the very first Daytona 500 that we ran, and the original, the inaugural Outlaw 500 winner.
Yep, he was. DK's another one. Yep, I forgot all about that. It's crazy, like from where we're at now. Like our core group has changed a little bit. I mean, we got Jason, we got still ourselves, me and you. We got Dagger has been there from the start pretty much.
Yes.
AJ started out with us, and he wanted to do his own thing, and he went and started on a mission, and they've been really successful too. So it's cool to see these different leagues go in their own different do their own things, and they're all successful in different areas, you know.
And just another thing, just to touch on that a little bit more, it's a lot of times kind of like marriage. Sometimes you get married for 5, 10, 20, 30 years, and it's just time to do your own thing.
Yeah.
Things separate, stuff happens, and all the love for everybody in every league that each of us has ever ran with. Appreciate you guys, and we credit every single guy we've ever raced with to get to where we are today.
Exactly. I mean, you're only as good as who you have raced with. So, like Bags and all them guys at Midnight and AJ even, and Jason, even all the way back to Chris Morris Jr. I've learned everything I know is like bits and pieces picked up from each one of those guys, you know. It's not like hey, screw them guys, I'm going to do my own thing. I think I know everything. I think I'm better than everybody. It's nothing like that. It's just, hey, I want to see what I can take from the knowledge that I've learned from all these other great league runners and see what I can do with it, you know. And Bulldog, I think you're a perfect example of that. Like 2 or 3 years ago, man, you can't even go on the track with you, and now you're up here battling for the win at road courses, you know. So
yeah, you know, battling with you for a championship right now. I mean, you're sitting here 1-2 in points. I had somewhat of a bad run at Watkins Glen, even though we was strong all night, but had some very unfortunate luck right there. But I mean, going from where we was, you know, a year ago at this point, with the 1-year anniversary of Midnight coming up, and me and Smoke meeting for the first time and everything else, we've definitely come a long way from where we was at that point.
Yeah, definitely. AJ, you want to talk a little bit about On a Mission and tell everybody what you got going on over there?
Yeah, we got some good thing going on over there. It's growing it's growing slowly, and I like that. I got a couple of the Pro League guys that run there full time, and Voltage, and Keffer is actually part of my admins over there.
Okay.
NRG, you know, Dylan. From the back, Will Mosley. All those guys are fast. Some of them are top 50, including myself, whatever. But we have some good sponsors, and the racing content, I kind of look at it as it's quality instead of quantity, or in that kind of way. And gonna go through the routes and try to get somebody drafted from On a Mission, but if not, it's not the end of the world. I'm in for it for the fun, not the fame.
Exactly. Exactly. So. I agree with you. I mean, you said that perfect. So with that being said, we'll get into topic number 2. So we had Pro League season number 1 already, and then we got, you know, a lot of people's like, is there going to be a season 2 in the whole 9 yards? Well, there is going to be a season 2. From y'all as a fan aspect, from season, like, take away what good did y'all see from season 1 versus the bad, and what would you like to see in season 2 as a fan or even as a participant of it?
Well, I think it's kind of hard for, you know, for me and Beast and everybody that helped throughout the Pro League and helped you and helped, you know, whoever else who we helped set the Pro League. It's hard for us to sit back there and look, just as a fan standpoint, or at least it is for me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we had a little bit of our own personal interest thrown in that, helping you through your championship run in the Pro League. So, you know, in my perspective, it's a little hard to sit back and look at that in a fan standpoint. But it was, you know, tremendous racing besides that first race, and we all know the difficulties that went on there with the glare and everything else, and stuff wasn't set up right. But I think, you know, the Pro League, just like any leagues that we run on here, it's baby steps, and it's baby steps getting bigger. They just start off on a little bigger scale than all the rest of us have. But, I mean, it was great racing, and, you know, from looking at it, the teams, the sponsors, everybody came together in the collab, and it was amazing. From a Sands standpoint, you know, I understand a lot of these guys. It ain't real racing. I understand that, but I mean, if you want to see some good racing and you have nothing else to do, I mean, go check out some of these leagues. Go check out the Pro League. It's great racing.
Yeah, and to touch on that a little bit, as far as it's not real racing, it's not to a certain degree, but to a certain degree it is, like, especially, like, which we're going to get into this a little bit later, but this game versus Heat 3, okay? So Heat 3, it was all about who can build the fastest setup and who can drive it the loosest. On this game, Darlington is a perfect example. Everybody running these world challenges is coming out of turn 2, hitting that bump and fencing it like every other lap. So, like, you can actually, I'm not saying it's you know what like, it's not real racing to a certain degree, but they took a big step, is what I'm trying to say, from Heat 3 to Heat 4. If they can take one more big step like they did from Heat 3 to Heat 4 to Heat 4 to Heat 5, I think they could possibly be close to Project Cars level. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're getting there. And there's been a lot of changeover from people who's working on the game, who's working on everything from Heat. You got to think of where they were at Heat Evolution. When Heat Evolution first came out, you couldn't even work on setups. You could offline, but you had to run presets online. Then, you know, and they made an update on Heat Evolution to where you could start running setups. So to think of where Heat was to where it is now, they've came a long way. People just live in the moment, and you got to think of, you can't live in the moment. You got to think of where they came from to where they're at now. You got to look at the big picture. So you just got, I feel like if everybody in the community would just keep supporting them and keep buying the game, he has endless possibilities of where they could be in the next couple of games, you know?
Yeah. That's the problem with fans in any sport sometimes. Sometimes they're the biggest enemy and they don't realize it, and they think we see that sometimes with people on the Heat's, like, Facebook page and whatnot, and it's like, come on, like,
exactly.
You can't expect to progress the game along if you're just going to complain about everything, and they're coming a long way. We just got to give them time. If they take the same step that they did from Heat 3 to Heat 4, and they do that to 5, they're really close
exactly.
to our racing, honestly.
I agree 100%.
And the passion's there. That's the other thing, too, is, like, when people say, oh, like, you know, e-sport this or blah, 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 it's still a sport. I don't care what anybody says. The fact that, like, you spend so much time on this, and you got to obtain a lot of knowledge. It's no different than someone, like, at real races, you know what I mean? Whether it's a local short track, dirt, asphalt, late model, you know, all the way to the Cup Series. They're just, everybody's looking for that speed. They don't really care how they find it, you know. Maybe making some weird setups, and people just want to get it, you know. If you're passionate about racing, you know, you could grab Heat 4 and start playing and have that vent, basically. That's where you kind of vent out that ability to race, you know. If you don't got the money, that's a big thing for me. I know that. I financially couldn't do it.
Exactly.
If I really wanted to.
Exactly. That's another big thing for me as well. Coming, you know, from 3 generations of racing, and stuff happened, wasn't able to race no more. And Heat allows all of us guys, you know, that don't have that money, or don't even have the money to go iRacing or whatever, you know, the $1,000 setups or whatever. It's a great way to get involved in racing in general. If you have a love for racing, you don't care how you do it.
Yeah, exactly. Well said, Bulldog. That's perfect. Like, you summed it all up right there. And I've talked to the iRacing champion a few times, and he even said, like, if he was to come over to NASCAR Heat, we'd probably smoke him. And then I had another buddy, well, not because it's hard or nothing, just because he's used to what he races, we're used to what we're racing. And I had a buddy that I grew up racing with in real life. Like, his name is Jason Long. We grew up from the time we were 7 years old racing dirt go-karts all the way up to late teens, and then he still races. I fractured my lower back and I had to get out of it. But anyways, he came over. He's a big iRacer too, and he came over to Heat during the qualifiers the first season around, and he's like, man, it's not that iRacing's harder, it's just different. He's like, I can't explain it. He's like, I'm not saying heat's easier, and I'm not saying iRacing's harder. I'm just saying it's different. And he's right. Like, I raced on his iRacing setup for like probably 3 or 4 days one time. I was over there for the weekend, and it's just different, dude. It's not. I mean, I really feel like all the top tier guys. He even said it. He's like, if you or like some of your fast buddies that you race with came over here and spent 2 or 3 weeks on iRacing, he's like, y'all would be fast over here too. He's like, if you can drive, you can drive. End of story.
And you know, here's the thing. And one thing, if you're a late model racer, you know, you're a late model racer, and somebody can be very competitive and very fast in the Lucas Oil Series. You know what I'm saying? And they go to the World of Outlaws, and it's a complete different rules package.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They could be struggling to make features. I mean, it's just different. You know what I'm saying? It's a different. It's you know, we're all still just racing. We're still wanting to race these cup cars in this game, or Xfinity cars, or whatever. It's just a different package of how you're doing it.
And you know what?
They follow the package well. You notice
they do.
that?
And that's something we're going to touch on later, what you just said as far as the package. I feel like the package in these qualifiers, with the way the draft has been, is almost perfect. If you take the draft from like our league race we have here in a few hours, it's going to be a ridiculous amount of draft. Then you look at these qualifiers, that is basically 2% draft, so to speak. Like, you gain a tenth a lap in these qualifiers off a draft. That's it. In our league races tonight, we're going to be gaining.
Gain that.
We do.
No,
I mean, if
I've noticed
you gain a tenth or
maybe,
so. You'll gain a half a second throughout the whole run. You'll gain about a half a second.
Exactly.
But look,
about
that's
half a second, that's what I was saying.
That's about perfect though, because like if you think about tonight in our league races, dude, we're gonna be running leaderboard lap times just because of draft. Somebody can be 2 or 3 tenths off the pace, and they're gonna be able to keep up because of the draft. I think it needs to be almost to the way the qualifiers is, turned up just a hair. I mean, you need a little bit to be realistic, because like there was a race last season, I want to say it was Las Vegas, no, it was Texas, when Kevin Harvick won, I believe. Yeah, he won. It was him and Almirola finished 1-2. If they showed a difference between the packages, like he was running a trimmed out car and Almirola was running a less trimmed out car, Harvick's speed going into turn 1 was literally like 8 mile an hour faster than Almirola. But Almirola's corner speed was a lot faster.
Yeah.
And you know what? You get what I'm trying to say? So like, with that less draft, it'd be more like real life, because you can run different packages. To where, with all this draft, it's really not that. I'm not a fan of the draft like I used to be. So
I mean, I think like you said, I think we still need to have it, but if it was
a little bit, not that much. I think it needs to be about halfway between where we're at in our league race tonight versus the World Challenges. I say if we go to halfway, maybe even a little less than halfway, it needs to be more towards the way it is in qualifiers.
I think it still needs to be, you know, and if we had that draft, you know, in a league race, just where we could set how we wanted to, it would not allow. We need to have not as much draft where we can have
the faster car can pull away.
Exactly.
Basically,
we can have a separation
if you have a better car,
that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, because if I'm not gonna lie, like, and you know what, I'm about to touch on a subject just to clear the smoke. Everybody, I don't know if they still believe it, but a lot of people are under the assumption that these guys are running my setups, and I will give you all a perfect definition of how that is not true. We went to the Atlanta World Challenges not too long ago. I made one run with my setup versus the setup they built, and Jason, his name is Jason, put 2 seconds on me in like 10 laps from his setup versus my setup, because there's no draft. He literally pulled me 2 seconds in 10 laps because his car was that much better. So that's why I'm a fan of no draft. Even though I got my butt smoked in that lobby, it brings out who's truly a better setup builder, you know. Which
exactly.
And people can say, well, he spent all day on it, so what, you know. if you hop in a lobby and you only have 30 minutes in that setup, and a dude hops in there and has 4 hours in the setup, that 4 hours in the setup needs to show. You know, that work needs to be shown off. You know what I'm saying? Beast, for example, at road courses, man, he's been. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I just think the draft is way too much, in my opinion.
And in my opinion, on the road course, just to touch on that a little bit, it ain't entirely about a setup. If you have a setup that can run a decent lap time, it's more about your line. It's your consistent.
Yeah.
It's your consistency in your line and how good you are at a road course. I mean, road courses really show off the driver. You know, just the driver in general, in my opinion.
I agree. What do you think, AJ, about the draft? Do you think it should be turned down? Do you think it should stay where it's at?
I think somebody should be able to show that they build a better setup, but also like draft's just part of the real life and nature of racing.
Not as much as it is in this game, though.
Well, no, you're right about that, but like some of that like qualifying crap, you can't even feel any of the draft.
Yeah, that's what I think it should be turned up a little bit, but really not that much, you know.
I mean, I do, and a great example of the draft and the qualifier lobbies is when me and Beast was at Kansas, and it's more about how you move the air with your car in the qualifier lobbies than it is just a draft in general. Because, I mean, if you're sticking your left front down there on somebody, I mean, if you're sticking your nose at somebody's left front, they're going to get tight.
Oh, man. What's up, Blake Brewer? Is that Brewster by chance in the chat?
Probably.
If so, say so. But either way, what's up, Blake? Appreciate for tuning in, bud. So, yeah, it's Brewster. Alright, so we will. That's definitely all good points. So, like, everybody made good arguments right there. And, I mean, I can't disagree with any of it. So, good stuff as usual. So, this is kind of going back to the first topic, is how we built the roster we have. And, you want to touch on that, Bulldog? Because that's something, I mean, this is my outlook on it. So, a lot of these other leagues wanted to get pro league drivers, and I'm not hating on it. If you got the pro league drivers, all pro league drivers, obviously it's gonna be good racing. They're proven, they're fast, there's a whole 9 yards. I've wanted, and my core guys felt the same way, is we wanted to go out and get guys that's never even been heard of because they didn't have the buddies to run with. So, for example, and now they're top tier guys in my opinion, it is hard to win an Outlaw race. The only tracks I've been able to win at so far is a short track. I'm not one of mile and a half. So, like, for example, Chiza. I'd never even heard of that dude before Outlaw. It's Jason. I've never even heard of him before Outlaw. Brewster. I've never heard of these guys before Outlaw started. And now it's like, in my opinion, these are top 10 guys, hands down. So my look is, don't go out there and get the guys that are already proven. If you want to make the community stronger, you got to go out there and get guys that are not proven. If you can help guys get proven and continue to do that, that's going to make more people get interested, in my opinion, because they're like, hey, these guys over here are giving guys chances, so let's make the most of it. If you're only going after the proven guys, they're like, well, they're not going to give us a chance, so why even waste their time?
You know, one thing that I'll touch on about that again is we didn't get these guys an Xfinity series. We had a Cup series.
Yeah.
That's it. A Cup series, and
they had one race. If they did good, they stayed.
And one thing, that Smoke has touched on so many times, talking about me and other people, is these guys don't get faster racing with guys they're the same speed as.
Yep.
It don't happen. We're not, and one thing that's different from going out here and racing Cup Series or at your local dirt track is everybody has the same car. Everybody has the same motor in it. The car is capable of going the same speed. And it helps these guys to go out here and chase the faster guys. You don't get faster by chasing guys
they're
at
slower.
the same speed as you.
Yep.
Exactly. You get faster of wanting that extra speed, of having a reason to go out there and find that extra speed.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think about that, Beast? What do you think about Do you think there's anything we could do possibly make the scouting for drivers better? I mean, what's your sense on it, Beast? Because in my opinion, and I will say this on live air, just to confirm it, in my opinion, Beast is the #1 driver on NASCAR Heat. That is my opinion. I don't care what anybody says. He is on a wheel, and just the things he does is ridiculous. No, we're not gonna do that. But I just want Beast to know I truly believe that about him. Like, I feel like this is my biggest way to like show him I truly think he's the best driver on Heat 4. Is Beast of Asgard, and that's my 100% opinion.
It's I think our scouting process is really good. I'm not gonna lie. There's certain drivers too you can tell who have like car control, good awareness, who race a certain way. We've developed that a lot, having to run around each other.
Yeah.
And I know that when I got into this league, because I ran leagues years ago. I've been running these games since I'm like young. Like my first 2 games on PlayStation ever were NASCAR 98 or 99 and like a wrestling game, like WWF Warzone or whatever. I'm 29, so you're talking late 90s. I seen them evolve so much, and the fact that like I've done leagues. When I got into this one, like I was always used to just dominating, and when I came into here, it was actually like a little bit of an ego hit because I'm like, I can't pull away from anybody. The draft's pretty gnarly, so you really can't pull away from anybody. And I started to realize that something I lacked at was pit road, and I still do. It's like, you can't be off at Outlaw at speed, nothing. It's like, it's the real deal. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to how we race, and we've scouted people on all those things. Like realistically, I'll say this too, going out on a note. There's nobody better at playing the strategy game at this game than Cheese is.
No, there's not.
Like he's like on his own level, and I respect that. For me, yeah, my speed's there. I feel like your speed's there. Bulldogs, like there's so many of us. I could go on and on. Now we're kind of just brushing, little details into everybody's style. We have our little weak points here and there, and coming to Outlaw, it's like it made me have to be that way no matter what. The scouting's good, like the way we scouted it. I think once we get in long races with people, if we would practice, that might be the only thing to try out.
Yeah.
Because you'll see how somebody's going to progress. Like, are they going to see you, say they don't have a mic, and they see you pull down off the backstretch? If they're smart enough to know you're pitting, and they're going to stay out or come in and pit with you, little things like that help to develop a driver as a whole. There's so many elements of racing, like.
And that was, one thing that I. Go ahead. Sorry, a minute or after you.
Restarts too. How aggressive, but being aggressive, going for the win. It's like when I was first started racing, I probably would have never gave Cheese the bumper like I did to him at Vegas.
Yeah.
He kind of came down, but it was all, and he respected me for it. And it's like, I could expect the same thing for somebody. I don't like to turn somebody. That's one thing I'll never like to do, but, like, just to get a victory is such a big deal.
That's one thing to me, is it don't bother me one bit at all. And I think, that's just where I come from and my style and what I've been taught growing up from a little kid. What I'm saying, it don't bother me one bit if I have to use it. It's not a second thought. It's a first thought. If I get to him last lap, I'm not even going to try. I won't completely just spin him or anything, because it's hard to spin somebody on this game.
The best way to do it is, I like to move someone up about a lane and a half and clear them. If they can finish second or third because of that to me, that's like, all right, you didn't lose too bad. You finished where you should, but I don't like to ever dump somebody completely.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like there's so much that happens in our races. It's like the points too. That's another aspect.
Not to cut you off,
Yeah.
if somebody's at my door, I'll be back in like 2 seconds. Y'all continue.
Yeah, and you know what and Beast, exactly. I mean, going through back at that Watkins Glen race, what was going through my mind after I spent out the first time is I've got to, as I was doing points in my head and everything else of how much I'd gained, because I'd gained like 6 points or so on smoke, and I was like, oh, I got to finish in front of him. I got to finish. I was doing all the points in my head because the points matter so much.
Yeah, they do.
Just going forward.
I didn't care enough about qualifying. I probably should more to be up there for those stages. And it's like, man, it's like everything. There's so much that matters. You can't just lie over for one thing.
I don't really focus on qualifying much at the big tracks, like we're going through tonight, because I know I can start 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, even if I have to, or wherever I qualify, and still be, still be okay.
I'm happy with 5th.
Yeah, as long as I'm in the top 10 qualifying, it don't matter. Now, if we go to a short track, Richmond, Bristol, something like that, I'm gonna focus about a day or so on a qualifying setup. Because you can't pass those places. Now, if we go to a bigger track, mile and a half or something, you can make some passes within, 5, 10, 15 laps into a race. Then okay, yeah, I'm not gonna put a lot of time or any time in a qualifying setup in that fact.
Yeah. Dagger, you here, brother?
I don't think he's in.
Yes, sir. What's up?
Oh, there he is.
Oh, just talking Outlaw. What's up, bud?
How are you guys doing today?
Oh, we're doing alright. We're just trying to figure out how we're going to beat you tonight.
Got a pretty good car.
I figure you do. Anyways, yeah, we're just talking Outlaw.
He's got a good car, but man, the internet's just not there.
Yeah, it's a coin toss.
It really is.
Anyways,
what's it gonna be?
That's right. Let's move on a little bit. So, the fourth topic is, and this was a beast topic. Let's do who's y'all's dark horses? Which a lot of people has already talked about this, but I think our opinions might be a little different. Who's y'all's dark horse pick for the Pro League Season 2? We'll start out with AJ. What do you think, bud?
AJ left.
Oh, did he? Alright, well, we'll start out with Dagger.
My dark horse to make the Pro League?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be tight because I think there's 5 guys, 6, 7 guys, an Outlaw you could throw into a ride and they'd be competitive right off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as dark horse,
yeah, that's a hard one because there's not really somebody that's gonna be drafted or has a opportunity to be drafted. They've already been running these. They're not a dark horse anymore. They've already been running this test qualifiers or whatever. I don't see.
I think anybody this year that's going to get drafted is going to deserve to be drafted.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, here's the thing though too. It's like there's certain people that I think there's even like us the way we are. There's certain misfits. Like people know we're quick, but they're in a way they're not considered a draft pick because of having the whole thing put together.
Can I touch on something, Beast?
It's not just about the speed. Yeah. It's about there's a little bit of marketing, things like that. So it's like and also you have other people's opinions. Like the people who are already in it, there's certain people that I don't think they necessarily want to be in it, and there's certain people that they also respect. You know what I mean? So it's like I think it's like honestly like I like Cheese a Bulldog, Jason's good, and then I was just running with Bad Fast, and like he's also somebody who's got something figured out. Like
the thing about Bad Fast though, and the only reason I'm gonna say this is because he will say it too, and he will be the first one to say it, is he can't build a setup. Like all the setups he runs is somebody else's. When I look at my who deserves to, and the only reason I'm saying this is because he will tell you himself So when I think of something like who should be in this, who should be in that, I look at the people that build their own stuff from scratch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it's wild too how much the setups have progressed. That's something we all. Have you like look back at your notebook? 'Cause I know all y'all got notebooks.
yeah.
I look back at my notebook. I was like, oh my god, what was I even thinking back then?
Yeah.
Like, stuff was off the chain. Like,
well, not even. I ain't even got a notebook or anything like that I just track everything in. I've just seen how I've worked with stuff over time. You know what I'm saying? And stuff that I do now with my setups that a month, 2 months ago even, when this game first out, that a lot of us would have never thought about even doing, or it would have worked.
Yeah.
Well, our mentalities were Heat 3 mentalities where you can drive the car really loose and get away without burning the tires off of it. In this game, you can't do that.
I know, and my struggle with this game will always be is like the fact that it's a neutral car, not necessarily scrubbing the speed, but like keeping everything even. And everybody, all the styles throughout the years, it was like a Jimmy Johnson style. I kind of feel like that suited me, where he drove off the right rear.
Just kidding.
But like, you know what I mean? Like everything's different, dude. Like these cars are so different. Like
one thing that
you don't drive that way anymore. Like your car has to be neutral. And other thing too, for me, I put into perspective. Sometimes working through traffic, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, if I got a car that's okay, and I can hang with you, but, like, I can go under you, no problem, like, I'll choose that car sometimes to put in a league race. I know that much. Like,
one thing that I've kind of noticed and everything else, it's not about even, to me, it ain't like keeping the car balanced on this game, but one thing that I've noticed is you work the left side of your car so much more than you have in previous games. On building a setup, I think that you put more, like, there's more, because, a lot of times you would
I think that comes with making the cars tighter.
Yeah, exactly, and throwing...
It's realistic, that's how they actually are in real life. If you hear, like, a Kyle Busch or something, that's why he hated them, because it's just neutral, kind of not scrub speed, and even if you're caught in traffic or you gotta burp out of it sometimes... Like Michigan, if you hit the wall and you're like in the back of the pack, bye-bye. You know what I mean?
You're done,
like you're gonna lose the draft.
And another people you're forgetting, dude, is Too Fast. Too Fast.
Yeah,
his name is perfect for him. He's a top tier.
I think that's kind of one of the dudes too that I had in mind. I mean, I tell you what though, everybody knows he's quick. Like his name
like
has gotten around.
When you
it
say
don't matter if it's
Dark Horse, I'm thinking of people like the Blue Jimmy fan, maybe. Just guys that are right there on the edge of that top 10 leaderboard every week. When you say Dark Horse, I mean, but that's why I can't say Dark Horse picks and then say, oh, Beast, Jason, Dagger. I can't.
Finally got noticed.
Exactly. It's hard to say that's a Dark Horse pick.
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of are though. Like I said, just because you're a lot younger. I don't think people
not even that. Just the taste he has put in people's mouths in the previous years.
Yeah.
To where he is at, like, you came a long way, bro.
I'm starting to realize it in the races that is, people are doing that, and you got to respect it because they're actually putting that pressure on you, and I could feel it when I'm next to you, racing you in the car, because you're trying not to make a mistake, but sometimes it tricks you into making a mistake because you're like, oh, here I go again. I'm in another bad situation. I can't door somebody. And you're nervous and things. Yeah. Those are things that you just shake it off over time. You know what I mean?
And I've kind of lost that complete edge of I'm just gonna go up here and I'm gonna get to the lead and I'm just gonna pop. We're gonna go from the start of the green flag. But I mean, it's
We're there. We're molding it.
It's hard to kind of it's hard to bring it from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's something that everybody is going through. I feel like, and when I was first at midnight, it was bad.
Yeah, it was.
It was bad.
That's an understatement.
Even AJ, like you can ask AJ since he just joined the party chat back. Started the green flag, of course it'd be a manual start, it'd be the only manual caution we had. But started the green flag, first lap, as soon as I crossed the finish line, we were 3 wide.
But you just go to the bottom right away?
That's not even an exaggeration. Or the outside. I knew the outside wouldn't work, but we're going to take them 3 wide and see if it does work.
3 wide into Watkins Glen, going into turn 1.
We're going to see if it does work. I mean, you know, it's something that comes with time, and I think that
I used to be the same way, man. Like midnight, and AJ, I don't know if you were there. You might not have been there yet, but there was one point, and if there's any of the midnight guys watching right now, you can type it in the chat. They try to vote me out like during the qualifiers because of how, I mean, I was a lap down, right? And it was coming to the white flag, and the leaders are side by side racing for the win, and I took it 3 wide as a lap down car, and was racing them 3 wide. Like that's how bad that was, dude. And it's just, I mean, I was young at the, which I'm not as young as Bulldog, but I mean, I raced with him for a while. I was probably 21, still young, you know, that young mindset, and just. It took a while for me to get it. Like, you don't win the race on the first lap. And there's still times, man, I'm still aggressive at times, but I'm a lot more laid back than I used to be.
You know, it's something I've come to terms with as well, is I'm always going to be aggressive. It's something in me. It's just where to be aggressive.
It's not even where, it's when. That's the question. When.
Yeah, when. Because there for a while, and
I mean, like last week, I made my first big mistake of the season and took out damn Cheesa and Jason. I went going at a damn road course. Dude, I'm telling you. They were side by side, but there was enough room for, it was the last lap, you know. We were battling for a second, so there was enough room for a car in the middle. So I decided to be that car in the middle. Well, as soon as I pulled up and went to go in the middle, I had a huge run out of the carousel, and I wanted to split them. As soon as I split them, dude, like made that move, it closed instantly. Like, you know, that was like that's an example of. Let them race side by side. One of them's going to make a mistake and probably get into the other. They're going to push up, and you can slide under them. But rather than waiting,
and you got 2 corners for the next person.
Yeah, exactly. I made a mistake, and it happens. Like, but when you do it every race versus once in a blue moon, you know, it's one thing, and that's where you've gotten better, Bulldog. You used to do it every race. Now it's just every now and then you still make one bad decision. Well, you know, and I still do the same thing.
The one bad one, I think, and I can still reflect on it now, even though it's been a while. But the real one bad one this season, or since we've been running, you know, Outlaw and Heat 4, was on the Tuesday series back when we were still running on Tuesday. Was going for a stage one. I think it was like the second stage. I was running second, and Chase took a little higher going to the corner, and I saw an inch, and I decided to take a mile.
Yeah.
And I ended up taking out the entire field.
What's your thoughts, Dagger, AJ, on aggressiveness? Like, how do y'all, AJ, how do you approach a race?
Oh, I want to win them all, but that's impossible. But, I don't know, aggression's normal, I feel like. I mean, it depends what part of the race you're doing it in is a big factor. Like if you're doing it on lap 5, you probably deserve to get kicked in the head. If, 5 to go, I can kind of understand someone's point. Yes, there's going to be tempers and flares and pissed off people at the end of the race, but after the race, drop a few bombs, whatever you want to do, but you'd be friends by the next week.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. What about you, Dagger?
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of do it the same way. At the beginning, I don't really get too aggressive until the last stage, but I mean, if I feel like I'm getting slowed up, I might give somebody a little love tap and tell them to get out of the way. But I'm not.
And one thing.
But I'm also the one that will get up the lane and let you pass me. I mean, I'm not worried. It's like you said, you can't really win the race on the first lap, but you can hurt yourself a lot by messing up and putting yourself in bad track position. So, I mean, it's time and place.
Yeah, I agree.
You gotta know your situation.
What kills me is like when you're racing back again on the Tuesday series, when I was trying to get a top 3 right there at Iowa. Smoke was leading, Beast was running second. I was like 5th, and I passed somebody. I don't even remember who I passed. And then DK was right there in front of me. It was like 3 to go in the race, and I gave him a bumper to get him out of the way. I was a faster car, and I still got chewed out because of that. And I tried to tell him, I'm not gonna lay over every single lap for anybody. I'm not gonna sit here and run 4th, 5th, 6th because I'm that scared of getting past you. There still comes a time where you've got to be yourself as a driver, and you still have to, hey, look, I'm here.
Yeah. Is that the like honestly?
Who is Bulldog in real life as a driver?
Ryan Newman.
That's what I was just gonna say, dude.
Ryan, he's a fast version of Ryan Newman. Yeah, he is.
Bogging you down. You're like, really, dude? I got you all but cleared 3 inches, and you're just pulling us
and
back, side drafting.
And like when it comes to like setups and shit, man. Sorry for the language. It comes to like we don't even run each other's setups. That's how evolved everybody has been. Hold on, y'all continue. My mom is calling me. Give me 1 second.
Beast, it's kind of funny you say that too.
Hello?
I'm like Ryan Newman. My first race I ever won in real life, it was at a road course, indoor road course, go-kart track, and I was much slower. This guy moved in from the next class up above me because they was going to give him points or whatever for running our series into his next race or whatever.
Yeah, he wants it for sure. I think he was supposed to be off today, and
we had to do a mandatory stop, and I got out in front, and I held this guy off, and I mean, he was beating me down for like the last 5 laps of that race. I mean, just knocking me to the corner every time I could. But
he's like, because I said, do you want him? He's like, heck yeah, I want him. My dog is bored by itself.
Sorry, boys, we're taking a commercial break for Smoke's mom.
But yeah.
He probably didn't even know that.
No, he don't.
Tell her to message me. Yeah.
Y'all hear that? Everybody message Smoke.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, though. I mean, we were talking about... I've done go-karts, and the thing that stinks about that... When you do go-karts, like those I forget, we have an indoor track around where I live, and I kind of did the same thing, though. There's a bunch of little kids.
Oh, I'm back. Could y'all hear me the whole time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You're obnoxious. Knock it off. No, I'm kidding.
My mom, this dude from my work is supposed to be getting a dog for my mom. I'm sorry, yo.
Like, because they're so much lighter. They're like 100 pounds lighter than me. I did the same thing. I kind of bulldogged them. I was just like swinging wide, making sure they couldn't hit their apexes. They were beating my bumper off. They couldn't see that I was like 5 years older than them. And like the one kid like got out of his car, started walking towards me, and I'm like, that was like during like my heavy lifting days, and I like turned around and looked at him, and the kid was like, "Oh, I ain't talking to that guy." He was like maybe 13 at the time. I was like 23.
Whoa! We're not talking about racing.
What? Yeah, we are.
I'm just messing.
We're talking Outlaw. Outlaw's a little bit of everything.
That's right.
But I mean, I had just started, and I was moving up to the ranks there at that indoor. We was doing this league thing. And he had missed his big grade, like the top class. I was in the novice. He was in the big
indoor?
Class. Yeah, it was indoor. It was indoor. And I was I wasn't even arcing it into the corner. I wasn't. I was right next to the wall. I was braking way too early, and I mean, I was getting whiplash. He was knocking me so hard into the corner. He didn't get past me though.
Yeah, I gotta remember that when I was young too. Sometimes you're just frustrated.
Oh, man.
What's your next topic on the paper there, Smoke?
Yeah. You know, we kind of went out of order by accident. But anyways, if we're gonna hit another topic, I would say, what would it mean for each and every one of y'all to be drafted? And we will start with my one and only Dagger.
What would it mean to me to be drafted? Well, like all of us, I've been racing NASCAR games since I was 15 years old, so I mean, it'd be pretty amazing. Yeah. It'd be badass, to be quite honest. Yeah. I mean, I've wanted that for the last couple of years. That's why I put in the time to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can race with the best of anybody and keep up.
I agree. So you can.
I feel that it'd be an honor, it'd be a privilege to do that for a team, and I think I'd be good at it. So, I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm here, I think. I mean, that's what my enjoyment is racing. So
can y'all still hear me?
If I could do that and make money on it, heck, that's a dream right there.
Yep.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, I'm putting my headset in, so that means y'all can hear me through my camera. That's awesome.
Yes, I told you you could do that.
That's awesome. Hey guys, I'm new to this, okay? What about you, Bulldog, Beast, AJ? Anybody?
Oh, man, it would mean the absolute world to me. I'd probably break down crying if I ever got drafted. Coming from racing, 3 generations of racing, and not being able to do it no more, it's heartbreaking. And to be able to race for a NASCAR team in any form, I wouldn't care if it was racing. I don't care, any kind of racing, it wouldn't matter. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. It's something that I strive for each and every day, and I don't care who I get drafted for, or if I do. I mean, it don't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? I just want to race for a team and be there and be part of it, and be part of the the fraternity or the brotherhood. My dad always used to say, when my brother joined his fraternity in college, he said my dad told him he joined the biggest fraternity and the best fraternity ever, and that's the racing community.
Yeah, and this is, I know Beast and AJ, y'all still gotta voice y'all's opinion, but I was a part of season 1, obviously, and I was blessed enough by the man upstairs to allow me to win a championship. So, and this is something I regret to this day. There's 2 things I regret to this day that I did not say in my interview for winning that. And the number 1 thing is, I did not thank the man upstairs in my interview. I thanked him, but I should have put that on blast all over the internet. I should have said that. And number 2 is I had a lot of help from all y'all during the season, no doubt, and I could not have done it without y'all. But my man Beast, dude, he put in... Beast, tell him how many hours. You gotta tell him, Beast.
It's probably like 60 hours.
How many?
Maybe.
And I was in 1 week because remember we wasn't linked up yet. In the first, we had 2 weeks between each race, so that was in 1 week.
Yeah, I get. Like, I don't know. It was probably a little bit over a week, but it's still a lot of time. I know one day was like probably. That one day was like, no kidding. It was probably like 12 hours with like.
Base is over here trying 6,000 ride heights with 40s on the left, 60s on the right. So I'm over here with 4,000 ride heights trying 10s on the left, 20s on the right. So I'm talking about, it was crazy, dude.
It was that big Frankenstein puzzle. But that's my favorite setups when they get like the...
Yeah, you ain't lying though. When we hit on it, dude, we hit on it. I still have not had to touch that setup to this day, bro.
Well, another thing,
and you know what's crazy? Is I only had to go like 80% with that setup, dude. I could have ran 2/10 faster at a lap if I wanted to, but I could not have done that with that beast. That's why we're talking about leads, we're talking about dark horses, we're talking about rosters, the whole 9 yards. We're actually talking about what would it mean to get drafted. If I don't get drafted again, it wouldn't really hurt my feelings because of the relationships I've made with the guys that I currently am friends with now. You know what I mean? All of y'all that had my back during that time, Y'all didn't get mad and say, well, we didn't get drafted, so we quit. Y'all continue to help and support me. So my vision was, don't get me wrong, like, I want to go out there and win another championship for Stuart Haas. Don't get me wrong, Stuart Haas like made it all possible in the beginning. So I want to do what I can for them. But if they were to decide that I'm not the best candidate for them, and y'all get drafted, I swear to God, dude, I'll put everything I got to make sure all y'all go out there and get the job done. So that being said, dude, NASCAR comes down to a brotherhood, a family aspect of it, and I could not be any more grateful to y'all for the position I'm in. I did not do this by myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny too, because I can remember like building bullets with that setup and like trying to run as fast as I could, but I couldn't make it on tires. And you were slower, tighter.
We'd be like 2 laps short on tires and some crap. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a while. Yeah,
man,
that was so much work and just crazy.
And that's what I mean. Like, you didn't do that for you. You did that for me. You know, like. I mean, obviously you were learning and stuff, but you had no reason to go and spend that many hours at that one track. You know what I mean? Like, that shows how dedicated to helping me you was. So I am that dedicated to helping y'all too, because like you put that much hours into me at that one track, yeah, but everybody else also held me at this track or that track, you know, a little bit here and there. So it's not.
Coming back, not to cut you off, like where I came from in my situations, like I went down a bad part of my life and I started to realize that, like, you know what my problem is? Like, I don't freaking like help people out, or when I do, I regret it. But like, when you realize that's how you're supposed to be all the time and you got to make yourself feel good about it and keep doing it, it all pays itself forward. Like, it's all coming back to me. Like, and my problem was I wasn't outspoken enough. I still probably ain't, and I still don't like when I raced Heat 3, no lie, you can ask a lot of people, I barely went into parties or chats with anybody. Like, for the first, I don't know, probably 15 weeks of that draft stuff from Heat 3, like, I dealt with nobody. I was like, I'm gonna do this all on my own.
I know, because we tried to get you to come to freaking midnight. I'm glad you didn't, because you wouldn't be an outlaw right now.
Stupid. Yeah, it was so stupid.
Now, like, when I play NASCAR, like, if none of my friends are on, I usually don't get on.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have the same enjoyment playing this game without one of my buddies on here, you know what I mean?
Like, before I even get online, I message in the Facebook chat, are y'all on? If nobody responds, I'm not getting on. I know what you mean,
I love racing, but it's a whole completely different thing when you got somebody to talk to.
And here's my stupid thought
That's
process.
100% Dagger. I mean, that's what That's what I was circling back to is, what's up, Justin Mons? I appreciate you tuning in, bud. For real, appreciate it. That's what it circles back to, though, is it's a brotherhood. Like, if we all get on here to race with our buddies, so everybody has their buddies they want to race with. Anybody else get in a lobby, you know, it's like, oh man, I gotta beat this dude, I gotta beat that dude, blah blah. You know how the game works. But when we get on and Beast is on, Dagger's on, Bulldog's on, Cheese is on, 48's on, Too Fast is on, Brewster's on, you know, the whole nine. AJ's we've been communicating a lot more recently. When he's on, like, it's like, alright man, my guys are on, let's go have a little bit of fun, you know? So you got to have that group around you that makes it fun. If you're racing by yourself, Beast, which like you was in the previous years, I don't know how you were having any fun out of that, Beast. I really don't.
Well, and also, Beast, like, you run with a group of guys like we have, and it just makes you an overall better driver.
It does.
You don't have a choice but to go fast. And if your setup's off a 10th, you're going to see it pretty quick.
Yeah. It was like, that was my thought process, though. I don't know, it was like, I wasn't even enjoying the journey, and I was like, all y'all are sharing everything. I didn't realize how much time you were putting into it, and I was like, wow, like, I don't even know, honestly, how I was 12th on that list that came out. I really don't.
I will say this right now, is and I'm gonna say this live. I don't give a darn right now, and my team won't even get mad at me for saying this. Probably is when I say it is literally harder to win an outlaw race than it is a pro league race. I am being 100%. Yeah, like to win a pro league race. I mean, like the pro league race, I was going out there try to beat my own goals, see if I can lead this many laps and win the race, and I ended up messing up trying to lead so many laps. Like an outlaw race, it's not about that. You got to go out there and make sure your strategy's right. You got out there and make sure everything is perfect. But I mean, it is literally harder to win an outlaw race. And like to win, I get more excited when like that Bristol race I won recently. I actually, you know what? Scratch that. That Auto Club race I won in the Xfinity Series the other night was more like it felt better than winning a Pro League race. Like that's how competitive our guys are. You know, like, and I'm not exaggerating any, dude. Even like our Xfinity Series is mostly our Cup guys, but we have a few dirt guys in there like Mook Duke, B-Stang. Those guys are fast, dude. They really are. Like.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy the level of competition we have in Outlaw, and 90% of Outlaw people I ain't even heard of 3 months ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And everybody kind of like beats their own drum too with how they race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, you know absolutely most exciting win I've ever had
I know.
Was the race at Richmond.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
you beat me on fuel mileage, though, dude.
I don't care, man.
No, you beat me, though. You did.
It's still a win. You sat there and ran side by side for like 70 laps.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I can testify to Outlaw being better than the Pro League shit because I won 2 showcase races and I've yet to win an Outlaw.
That's because you lose connection every other race, but that's the point.
If I wouldn't have lost connection 4 times, I'd probably be second in points right now.
Yeah, you
like
probably
would
be.
Before I did.
That's why I tried to get you come to my house tonight, dude, but you just wouldn't do it. You still got time if you want to load up and come on. Come on with it.
It's still snowing here.
Go get you a tarp.
3 inches of snow.
Come on, man. I got plenty of desk here. Just bring your wheel. Come on.
I got plenty of desk here.
My question is when both
y'all hold on. Dagger's thinking about it. Let's see if we can get him to come to my house on
air. Not today. Too late.
Dagger, I'll pay for your gas, Dagger.
Not today. Maybe in a couple weeks.
Well, I'm gonna be off Saturday every week from now on, I think. Anyways, yeah, but that's I mean, AJ, what did you use from, going all them qualifier years, or not years, but days for season 1? What would you like to see changed for the qualifiers on season 2?
I think it shouldn't be about times. I think it should more be about racing stats.
Yeah.
Well, my problem is with that is somebody can get in here and have, I'm going to send 5 of my buddies. It's just absolutely terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to send, and then I'm going to just absolutely whip them all day long, and I'm going to get 5,000 wins, all this stuff, and I'm going to be a top 50 guy when I don't deserve to be a top 50 guy. That's why you have to have at least some. I agree with you, but it needs to look at who's in your lobby and how it's going and who, like, the talent of guys you're racing, and they don't have that yet. So I think the plan B or the kind of the substitute right now until they can get the technology in to be able to track all that stuff and get that right is the times, and it's what they have to have right now, and that works.
They did say they looked at all that, though. Like, when I think back about what I was just complaining about with myself, that's one thing I didn't do. I didn't go in chat, so I was always in a public lobby. I always ran against random people. So they did definitely track that. It's just, I mean, I don't think I hate the times. I don't know. I mean, the only thing I think they should maybe do is just add a race for the top 10 or something like that.
Every week, exactly.
At the end of the week or something.
I think if you're going to do that, then that's what you do.
No. That would be really cool if they, like, put it in like the pro league qualifying part, like so everybody could watch that race. You know what I mean? I think that would be pretty cool.
Or have that be the final round.
That's an idea. Never thought of it like that.
Have that be the final round. Everybody's been qualifying for this race, and that top 10 leaderboard is who makes the race.
Yeah.
Well, the top 10 would be
a pretty good job of it, I think.
Yeah.
I wish it was more of an actual race where we didn't really have to worry about trying to get a certain time.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, the top 10 would be mostly.
I mean, I wish like the qualifiers were like a 50% race.
Yeah. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Then all you're going to be doing is pulling field strategy to get the best time.
I mean, if they wanted to set it up where field strategy wasn't involved, they could set a certain amount. That's why I want them to change it to where you can determine the amount of laps you run. Because, I mean, it'd be a lot better if you could pick an amount of laps that isn't going to allow somebody to stretch it out on fuel, or it's going to make it even for everybody in the fast car and win the race.
I mean, I got a fix for that, but not everybody's going to like that.
I would say take a different track and do it every day.
I would say 100% times one.
And then on Monday through, take the top 5 from each day.
Go
Come in
big.
a race on Saturday. 25%.
They could go to that old gear rule the way it is kind of in real life, where you just have an A and a B, and there's only gears you can choose.
I'm surprised they didn't do that to the gear package in this game.
Because how it is in real life, there's only like a little difference in the rear end or fourth, you know what I mean? A little longer.
Usually it's like you can either have a 360 or a 370.
Yeah.
And you can like choose your fourth gear.
Yep. That's actually the most realistic way about it, I think. Just to think about it, we really do. Like, the setups evolve.
Like, I got a little crazy scientist on the gears. I mean,
yeah, that's where it's been as of late. Is like just.
That's where you find that extra tenth or two.
Yeah.
You really do.
And people would really have to learn how to drive the track, because that's the only gear you've got.
Well, you take your really fast gear and then you bump it down a click, and your car is way tighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The car is just different.
Come on, Brewster. I see you out there joining the chat, brother.
Your car turn.
Get in here and speak your mind, Brewster.
Because then, like, everybody would have to deal with the wheel spin, like way more. You know what I mean? Everybody would just be trying to hang on to it. I think that would be really cool.
Where's that to, Jason?
Michigan.
Alright, well, I guess y'all are about to see us race a little bit while we're on the podcast. What other podcast is doing that? Racing and talking at the same time. Let's do it.